Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hello, my name is Mpho, and over here we chat all things business, careers, properties, and sometimes a little bit about life. Today, I wanted to talk about career FOMO. Now, we all know what FOMO is, the fear of missing out, and I thought it'd be really cool to talk about it, at least how I've been experiencing it from a career perspective. Now, I'm not a very social person, so I don't necessarily feel FOMO when it comes to seeing people hanging out and feeling like maybe I should be in those spaces. So, Instagram posts don't trigger me as much as LinkedIn posts. I don't know if I am the only one, but what I've realized actually over watching content on the internet is that there's something that you feel could just be happening to you. And then you find someone else talking about it on the internet, and then you just find peace in that relatability. And so that's what we're trying to do here, right? Career FOMO. Now, what is career FOMO? The way I'm talking about it, it's just that feeling of anxiety that comes with feeling like you're being left behind in your career, or that comes with feeling like everybody else is moving ahead in their careers, or that comes with feeling like you are not going in the direction that you need to be going into when it comes to your career. And if you realize those are three different things, right? And all of them can be anxiety triggering. The first one, feeling like you're being left behind, is maybe in comparison to other people, looking at where other people are and then judging yourself and feeling like, well, why does it look like everybody else has it figured out and I don't? But then the last one that I think is quite key is when you feel like you are not moving according to your plans. And I think this is very important because it takes away all the outside noise and it refocuses everything on what you want for your career and, the anxiety that you may be feeling against what you actually want. I want to then go back to chatting about the fear and FOMO and the fear of missing out. And I've already alluded to the anxiety that many of us feel when we're feeling, like we're not progressing fast enough, when we're feeling like we're being left behind, when you're feeling like people seem to be getting all the cool opportunities and we seem to not be getting that. There's two kinds of fears there that I'm sort of seeing as I speak about it. The first one is, I guess, that anxieties I mentioned, but in relation to how other people are doing. But then the second one is fear when it comes to you standing in the way of what you need to achieve. If it happens that you're seeing everybody starting businesses and you know that's something that you want to do as well, that's something that you have great desire to try out, I understand how you can get that anxiety or FOMO when you see people doing what you want to be doing. And then I guess the fear in FOMO is something that we should be looking at, and we should be looking at why we don't feel like we're in the position to make the bold decisions that we want to make. What is really standing in our way? If you want to start a business, can you maybe perhaps start it as a side hustle? Or do you have enough saved to maybe take the leap? But I think what would be very helpful there is getting to the bottom of whether that fear is valid or whether it's not. And maybe you should actually just focus on watering the things that you have going well for you. So I want to focus on a few techniques that I found to help me whenever I have FOMO. Whenever I feel like everybody seems to have it figured out, whenever I feel like, I'm quite stagnant in where I am, or whenever I feel like I'm scared to take the actions that I know I need to take. Now, while I want each of us to be motivated from within, I feel like I do need to say that, when you're looking at other people, it's quite easy to think they have things figured out. And I can tell you that's not the case. And I think just realizing that we all are just winging it, we all just taking it one step at a time. And I feel like people who think they have it together are the ones that we should be afraid of, because what gives them that confidence? For many of us, we're honestly just winging it. We're honestly taking it one step at a time. We're learning as we go. And so just rest in the comfort that as much as you look at other people on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, and it seems like they have figured out what it is that they need to be doing and they're doing it, understand that they don't. You're seeing the highlight reel and you're looking at that with the context of your whole story, the full picture of your story. So yes, obviously we will show the graduation picture. We will show the starting a new job picture. But maybe with that job hopping, it's just uncertainty and we don't know what we're doing with our careers. So don't look at someone else and think they have it figured out. No one does. Nobody has a manual to life, and so we're just taking it a day at a time. And then the real, I guess, tip here is to set your own goals and steer in your lane. I didn't say stay in your lane. I'm saying steer in your lane because I honestly believe in being the driver of your life. I honestly believe in taking charge, because the other thing that makes us fearful is that we don't move, we don't steer. And steering in your lane could actually mean a U-turn, right? But basically being the one that's driving and you are the force behind that wheel. When you know what your goals are, when you know what you want to achieve, and you know you are actively working towards that, then I think you'll be a lot less swayed about what people seem to be doing, especially if it doesn't align to what you want to be doing. If you are in your lane, but you're not necessarily driving, you actually just stay stagnant, I think it's okay to have that little discomfort inside when you feel like, you know what, I'm not actually taking action. That fear could be in the form of actually, just the force inside calling you to take more bolder decisions and actions with your life. So, but it is important to realize that we are in control of our careers, and then things are not happening to us. We are the ones that are allowing and are decision makers, and every day we choose the paths that we are in. And obviously there's other external forces because the world is quite big, so we can't also be too self-important to think everything happens as we direct them. But I think we've got a very active role that we're playing, especially when it comes to our careers. So have your goals, set your goals, remember them, have them within you, and also steer in the direction that you want to go in. The second thing is, we hear a lot about practicing gratitude, but I think it's also very important, especially when it comes to, feeling like other people seem to have it all figured out and you don't. The idea of just counting the things that are going well for you, the idea of counting the ways in which you have been blessed, the ways in which you have won, I think that sort of takes the attention away from other people for a second and allows you to look at what is going right with you and what you're grateful for. And I think it creates space for more. It creates that clarity as you take other people off of your mind. And as we're speaking about, limiting the outside distractions and limiting our gaze onto other people, limit your use of social media. I am not an active Instagram person, and there was a point where I thought I wanted to be a LinkedIn person. I wanted to post a lot more frequently on LinkedIn. But what I have realized is that there's a lot of things that I'm also working through when it comes to my career. And so a lot of times I felt unnecessary pressure from the platform that I was trying to add value to. And so limiting your use of the platforms that seem to be driving you further into the negative spiral of comparison, into the negative spiral of thinking things aren't as they should be for you. Limit that use. I, as a content creator, we have it in quotes because we're not sure if we really are content creators, but I have also struggled, especially with Instagram. I've struggled with also how much to share because I don't want to trigger people. And maybe that's been a topic for another day on how do we do the inner work for ourselves so that we're not triggered by all of the external factors. We're not triggered to compare, I should add. Not like, it's not serious stuff, I guess. But we're not triggered to compare ourselves or feel propelled to compare ourselves when we feel like things aren't going our way. This is true for me on LinkedIn. It's true for me on Instagram. Yeah, I think I've actually even turned off my LinkedIn job updates. Whenever I have to change my jobs, I've had to turn that off first because I didn't want that to send an update. It's crazy, but that's how I look at it in my head. But yeah, limit social media usage. And maybe I'm feeling this way because of how I feel about the different social media platforms. Maybe this is not even a real issue for you guys. But let me know. Let me know if it's a real issue for you or not. And then the last point that I want to mention is to embrace uncertainty. I feel like many of us have given into the clear path, the linear path that, especially if you studied a course that was quite set out for you, you know that after your undergrad, it's honors. After that, you do your articles. And then it's sort of like every 2 years you get that promotion. But maybe leaning into uncertainty then helps us be a lot more bold in some of the decisions that we make. Understanding that, yes, there's that defined path, but maybe there's the pathless path that is really defined by you having questions and going in the direction of the questions that you have, instead of, going through some sort of set map of what your career should look like. So when we're embracing uncertainty, we follow the question instead of following someone else's footsteps. We understand that this is our life for the living and we need to be happy with it. This is a big point for me. I think I'm speaking for myself and to myself on this one, that follow the question, follow the curiosity, instead of shutting it off and being like, listen, we've got bills to pay. We do have bills to pay. All of those things are true. But I think we owe it to ourselves, especially as we're still young, to follow the question. See where it leads us. We don't need to know what the next 10 steps are. Sometimes you just need to know that this is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm curious about. And so I take the next step towards answering that question. And if the next step leads me to an answer, great. But if it leads me to another question, then I follow it. I think then that leads to also a more fulfilled career. Instead of maybe trying to climb up, what we could be looking at is broadening our horizon, broadening our skill set, and not feeling like the next title has to be better than the last one. The next job title, that is, has to be better than the last one. But feeling like the next opportunity needs to be adding to my skill set and needs to be put it, like, as I'm putting it into my portfolio, it is helping me solve problems that I'm most passionate about. So that is it for today's video. I hope you found this useful. Let me know in the comment section, is career FOMO even a thing, or is it something that I just made up? Let me know. And until next time, keep well.